All right, for more, we're joined by Sumit Ganguly, is a visiting fellow at the Hoover Institution at Stanford University. Professor, thank you very much for joining us. Now, we know that a recent survey found 78% of those polled in India approved of Mr. Modi. Are you predicting a big win for the BJP?
I'm not predicting a big win, but they will clearly come back with a working majority in Parliament.
Professor, that said, is this election Narendra Modi's to lose? I mean, is there anything that can go wrong for him or right for the opposition between now and June 1st?
Short of a complete bolt from the blue, which I do not expect, I cannot visualize a scenario under which Modi loses. The opposition was slow to get off the block. They have important ideological differences. They have important personality differences, and they have not adequately worked out a clear-cut platform to oppose Modi and his ideas and their electoral platform.
Yeah, speaking of the opposition, Professor, things are not playing out on the level field for them, it seems, with leader Arvind Kejriwal in jail, the largest opposition party's bank account frozen. Do you share concerns raised by opposition parties and political analysts regarding the free and fairness of the electoral process?
I quite share their concerns. I've been following this fairly closely. I find it odd that several important politicians quite close to the election have been either incarcerated or subject to investigations. Now, obviously, I do not know the veracity of the claims that have been leveled against them. That's for the courts to decide. But I have to raise my eyebrows about this sudden concern for financial improprieties, for other forms of malfeasances with which a number of prominent politicians have abruptly been charged, and also the Congress party, which is the principal national opposition party, suddenly finding its accounts frozen because of apparent arrears in paying income taxes.
Professor Ganguly, with all that in mind, will the BJP continue to struggle in South India, for example, with third parties generally rule? I guess we're talking about Tamil Nadu, Kerala, Andhra Pradesh?
That is correct. In the South, and I was traveling there in last October. Now, this is not a scientific sample, but I talked to a large cross-section of people, and there was clear reservations about the BJP and an unwillingness on the part of this cross-section of society that I talked to endorse the BJP's policies. So it is highly likely that the BJP will not be able to make significant inroads despite their efforts in the states that you highlighted.
And Professor, the BJP certainly has ambitious electoral goals, including securing a supermajority in parliament. And some critics fear that such dominance could lead to unchecked power and authoritarian tendencies. Are these concerns warranted?
I think those concerns are entirely warranted because the BJP has demonstrated a propensity to dispense with certain historic norms of Indian democracy. Above all, a democracy depends upon a loyal opposition, the concept of a loyal opposition, and the remarks of a number of prominent BJP leaders suggest that they don't seem to abide by that principle, and this thereby raises concerns about if the BJP comes back by some chance with a supermajority in parliament, they might run a bit roughshod on dissidents and particularly members of the opposition in parliament.
Professor, are voters thinking about these concerns, though? I mean, particularly the Hindu majority who see Modi as their champion. I'm wondering how perhaps the young may feel about these issues?
A substantial portion of the voting population has set aside these concerns. They are much more interested in the way that Modi has talked about restoring the pride of Indians. They like the fact that he's being courted widely abroad. Significant portions of the middle class like the fact that there are better roads in India, that there is better infrastructure in terms of ports, in terms of railways, in terms of airports, and also that the country is growing at a fairly rapid clip. All of these things appeal to a significant segment of the population, even though millions are being left out of this extraordinary prosperity that one has witnessed not only under the BJP, but even prior to the BJP. But of course, Modi, as a politician, will highlight what has really taken place over the last decade, and he can legitimately claim some credit. And this is appealing to significant portions of the Indian electorate.
All right, Professor Ganguly, I'm afraid we'll have to leave it there for now, but really appreciate your insight this morning. Sumit Ganguly, visiting fellow at the Hoover Institution at Stanford University.